That's unclear.
Thank you.
There was a public stat about your interaction with Vice President Harris. You released a statement saying that she was open to a meeting to discuss an arms embargo. Her campaign and people on her team quickly said an arms embargo is completely off the table. What gives you reason to believe, or any sense of optimism, that there is still indeed room for her to change this policy when she's publicly stated, or people close to publicly stated otherwise?
Thank you for the question, Ben. What's clear to us is the current approach of this administration is not only deeply offensive to humanity, it's also deeply illegal. The current administration is supplying weapons to the Netanyahu government that is turning around and using it to kill civilians, to kill babies, to the tune of over 16,000 children. That reality is not only unsustainable, it's deeply illegal. It's against U.S. law, it's against international law. So Vice President Harris could come out right now and commit to implementing U.S. law and international law as president. And if that were true, if that were implemented in the case of Netanyahu's murderous campaign, then a lot of killing would stop very quickly. A lot of leverage would be applied to stop that killing. So we think that her telling us that she intends to commit to implementing international U.S. law would be an important step. We understand that the Vice President doesn't support an arms embargo. Saying the Vice President doesn't support an arms embargo is like saying the sky is blue. Unfortunately, that has been standing United States government policy for decades. We want that to change. We support a full arms embargo. We also know that if her stance is that she does not support an arms embargo, we need to know what her stance is, because the current stance is killing a whole lot of babies. And that's not okay as far as we're concerned as Democrats and as people of conscience.
Hi, Chris Cameron of the New York Times. This question is on your policy on the permanent and immediate ceasefire. Secretary of State Blinken is in Israel right now for additional ceasefire talks this week and said, quote, "This is probably the best, maybe last opportunity to get a ceasefire and hostages deal." Currently, Netanyahu is blaming Hamas, and Hamas is blaming Israel for the lack of progress in the ceasefire talks. You talked about what the Biden administration should do to pressure Israel, mentioning the arms embargo. Should the Biden administration also be doing something to bring Hamas to the table, to agree to a lasting ceasefire and to lose their hostages?
Yeah, I think one piece of it is that Israel is continuously bombing Palestine and does that as they are going through negotiations, and I think that's not a good faith, right? Good faith happens when you negotiate actually through peace. So we've seen that very clearly. And the other thing is that the Biden administration is continuously supplying weapons as they're talking about a ceasefire, and I don't think that's a good faith either. So I think in order for there to be good faith negotiations, we need to be implementing arms embargo at the same time, right? So I think that's one thing that we're asking for. The other thing is that top negotiators have been murdered throughout this process, and I think those are really important things to consider in this process as well. So I think that this ceasefire deal also allows ground operations from the Israeli military to continue, and that's what we're asking for. A permanent immediate ceasefire really means just that. It means the immediate stopping of the killing of Palestinian children and families, and that's not what this ceasefire deal is really doing. We're asking for a permanent immediate ceasefire that would not allow the Israeli military to continue at its discretion to decide, okay, today we want to continue, right? We want a permanent immediate ceasefire with an arms embargo, and that's what we've been asking for point blank.
So there's nothing that you think that should be done in terms of getting Hamas to the table to also agree as a party of this conflict to a ceasefire?
Just to understand your question, are you asking us if Biden should talk to both sides?
I'm asking if the Biden administration, in addition to an arms embargo on Israel, should also be doing something to bring Hamas to agree to this lasting ceasefire that you all say that you want for this policy.
I mean, I think we would agree that Biden should talk to both sides. Because, I mean, I can't say anything else in the question. But we do agree that Biden should talk to both sides.
That's the key part of this question. It's important to understand the United States government is not a neutral actor in this situation. The United States government is sending billions of dollars of weapons that the Israeli military is using to kill civilians. Thank God the United States government is not sending weapons to kill Israeli civilians. If that were the case, we would oppose that as well.
Next question. Yeah.